Men, when a woman cheats, she doesn't always make it obvious. In fact, many women are experts at hiding their affairs for years. They perfect the art of deception, building an entire parallel life that never gets exposed. You'll be shocked at how well they can hide their secret. Today, I'll reveal 6 secrets women use to keep their cheating hidden for years. These tactics are more than just lies. They're psychological strategies designed to keep you in the dark while she lives a double life. Before we begin, hit subscribe and drop a comment if you've ever suspected something was off but couldn't prove it. This video could help you spot the signs before it's too late. Secret 1. She masterminds multiple lives with separate circles. How it works. She creates separate social circles, one for you and one for her affair partner. Her friends and family know one version of her life, while her lover's circle knows the other. She keeps her work friends and her lover's friends entirely separate, building walls between different segments of her life that never intersect. Think of it like this. She's living in multiple universes simultaneously. In Universe A, she's your devoted partner who goes to family dinners and hangs out with mutual friends. In Universe B, she's someone completely different, maybe more adventurous, more flirtatious, more free. And these universes never collide because she's constructed them with surgical precision. She'll introduce you to certain friends, but keep others mysteriously off limits. When you ask about people she mentions casually, she'll give vague answers or change the subject. She has entire relationships, friendships, connections, regular hangouts that you know absolutely nothing about, and she likes it that way. The psychology behind it. Women understand the power of compartmentalization better than most people realize. By separating these lives into distinct boxes, she keeps them from intersecting and makes it harder for the truth to leak out. This isn't accidental, it's strategic. This separation gives her emotional freedom without the constant fear of discovery. She can be one person with you and another person entirely when she's away. The cognitive load of maintaining multiple identities would crush some people, but for a woman who's committed to hiding an affair, it becomes second nature. Psychologically, compartmentalization allows her to reduce guilt. When she's with you, she can genuinely focus on being your partner because she's mentally closed the door on her other life. When she's with her affair partner, you become the compartment that's temporarily closed. This mental separation makes the deception sustainable over long periods. Real-world example. You're friends with her colleagues from work, but she never mentions the gym friends she sees 3 times a week. Or she has a book club that meets regularly, but you've never met any of these women despite hearing their names for months. When you suggest meeting them, she finds reasons why that wouldn't work. They're private people, the timing never works out, or she simply changes the subject. Secret 2. She creates alibis that sound too good to question how it works. She builds elaborate alibis that are perfectly believable and consistent. These aren't spur-of-the-moment lies. They're carefully constructed stories with supporting details. I was out with the girls at that new restaurant downtown. I had to work late on a big project that's due Friday. I went to visit my mom. She's been feeling lonely lately. The brilliance of these alibis is in their mundane believability. They're not exciting or suspicious. They're boring, routine, normal. And that's exactly why they work. She might even provide unnecessary details to make the story more convincing. What she ate, who said what, funny moments that happened. These details make the lie feel authentic. She creates patterns and routines around these alibis. Girls' night becomes every Thursday. Late nights at work cluster around the same days each month. Gym sessions happen at predictable times. These patterns make her absences feel legitimate because they're consistent and expected. The psychology behind it. The more a lie is repeated, the easier it becomes to believe for both the liar and the person being lied to. Psychologists call this the illusory truth effect. When she tells you she has yoga every Tuesday evening, and this happens week after week for months, your brain stops questioning it. It becomes accepted reality. She doesn't just rely on one excuse. She constructs a web of interconnected alibis that support each other. If you question one, she has 3 others that back it up. This creates a defense-in-depth strategy where breaking through one layer of deception only reveals another plausible explanation. These alibis also exploit your trust and your desire to believe her. Most people in relationships want to trust their partners. We don't want to be paranoid or controlling. She knows this and uses it. By making her excuses reasonable and routine, she makes you feel guilty for even considering doubting her. Furthermore, she often volunteers information before you ask, which is a sophisticated manipulation technique. By proactively telling you her plans, "I'm going to Sarah's tonight for dinner," she appears transparent and honest. This preemptive disclosure makes you less likely to question her because she seems to have nothing to hide. Real-world example: she establishes a girls' night out every Wednesday that becomes so routine you never question it. After 6 months, these nights have become part of your normal weekly schedule. You plan around them. You might even appreciate having that time to yourself, but then you notice the pattern shifting slightly. Girls' night occasionally becomes Thursday, or it stretches from ending at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. When you mention these changes, she has ready explanations. "Sarah couldn't make it Wednesday, so we moved it," or "We were having such a good time, we lost track of time." Secret 3, she keeps everything digital separate, hidden in plain sight. How it works. In the digital age, phones are the #1 way cheaters get caught, and she knows it. That's why she takes extraordinary measures to keep her digital life completely separate and secure. She uses hidden apps, second phones, and encrypted messaging services to keep her texts, calls, and photos away from prying eyes. Apps like Telegram, Signal, or even disguised calculator apps that open to reveal a secret messaging platform allow her to communicate freely without leaving obvious traces. Her phone might have a second life stored in private folders, hidden apps, or even a completely separate user profile that you don't know exists. Modern smartphones make this easier than ever. She can hide entire applications behind passwords, use notification settings that prevent messages from showing on her lock screen, or employ apps that automatically delete messages after they're read. She's meticulous about phone security. Her phone is always face down. She never leaves it unattended. The screen is angled away from you when she's using it. She has complex passwords or biometric locks that change regularly. She clears her browser history, uses incognito mode, and might even have a separate email account or social media profiles you don't know about. The psychology behind it. Women understand that digital footprints are one of the easiest ways to get caught in modern relationships. Text messages, call logs, social media interactions, location data, all of these create evidence trails. So women who are serious about hiding affairs take extreme steps to eliminate these trails. The psychology here involves understanding risk management and operational security. She's not just being careful, she's being methodical and strategic. She studies how people get caught and implements countermeasures against each vulnerability. There's also a psychological component of control. By maintaining complete control over her digital life, she maintains control over the narrative of her relationship and her affair. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is managed and monitored. Hidden digital lives also allow her to maintain emotional connections with her affair partner constantly, even when she's physically with you. She can be sitting next to you on the couch, appearing to browse social media, while actually having an intimate conversation with someone else. This creates a form of emotional intimacy theft. She's present physically, but absent emotionally. Real-world example. You think her phone usage is harmless, but she's secretly texting someone else while you're asleep. She waits until you're in the shower, or busy with something, or asleep to have conversations that would raise red flags if you saw them. She might have a work phone that she claims is only for professional use, but it's actually her affair phone. Or she uses apps that disguise themselves. There are calculator apps that look completely normal, but when you enter a specific code, they open to reveal hidden photos and messages. You might notice she's become more protective of her phone than ever before. She used to leave it lying around. Now it's always in her pocket or purse. She used to let you use it to look something up. Now she insists on looking it up herself. She changed her passcode and didn't tell you the new one, offering some excuse about needing better security after hearing about hacking. Secret 4. She becomes emotionally detached, but you don't notice it. How it works. She begins to emotionally withdraw, but the change is so subtle and gradual that you don't recognize it as a pattern until months or years have passed. It's not that she suddenly becomes cold, it's that she slowly, imperceptibly pulls away. She's no longer open about her feelings the way she used to be. Conversations that used to be deep and meaningful become surface level. She used to share her fears, dreams, frustrations, and joys with you. Now she keeps them to herself. Or more accurately, she shares them with someone else. She becomes distant during intimate moments, but you still get enough affection to believe everything's fine. There's still physical contact, still sex, still occasional displays of affection, but something fundamental has changed. The emotional connection behind these actions has diminished. She stops seeking your opinion on important decisions. She used to ask what you thought about her career moves, family situations, or major purchases. Now she makes decisions independently, or, more likely, discusses them with her affair partner and presents you with conclusions rather than involving you in the process. The psychology behind it. Emotional cheating often precedes or accompanies physical cheating. When a woman starts giving her attention, affection, and emotional energy to someone else, there's less left for you. It's not infinite. Emotional bandwidth is limited, and when she's investing it elsewhere, your relationship suffers. The withdrawal happens gradually because she's subconsciously, or consciously, transferring her emotional intimacy to another person. Her affair partner becomes her confidant, her support system, her emotional anchor. You become more like a roommate or a comfortable habit rather than a true partner. This gradual nature is key to why it goes unnoticed. If she suddenly became cold overnight, you'd immediately recognize something was wrong. But when the change happens degree by degree over months, humans have a remarkable ability to adjust and normalize. You adapt to the new normal without realizing how different it is from what you once had. Real-world example. She no longer discusses her day with you in detail. You used to hear about every frustration at work, every funny interaction, every small victory. Now when you ask, "How was your day?" you get "fine" or same old, same old." The richness and texture of her daily life are no longer shared with you. She stops seeking your advice on important matters. She used to value your opinion on everything, from what to wear to major career decisions. Now she makes choices without consulting you, and when you notice and comment, she says something like, "I didn't want to bother you," or "I figured I should start being more independent." The emotional connection you once shared feels off, but doesn't seem like a betrayal at first. Maybe you rationalize it as her being stressed at work, or going through a phase, or you being overly sensitive. You might even blame yourself, wondering if you've done something wrong, or if you're not being attentive enough. Secret 5. She uses manipulation to turn the tables when you question her. How it works. When you start questioning her behavior, noticing inconsistencies, or expressing concerns about the distance growing between you, she doesn't respond with honesty or reassurance. Instead, she deflects the conversation and turns it back on you, making you the problem. "Why don't you trust me? I've never given you a reason not to. You're imagining things. You're being paranoid. You're just insecure." Maybe you should work on your trust issues. I can't believe you're accusing me of this, after everything we've been through. She might even cry, expressing hurt that you would think so little of her. She becomes the victim in the conversation, and suddenly you're comforting her instead of her addressing your legitimate concerns. The conversation gets completely flipped. You came to her with worries, and now you're apologizing for having them. She uses your past against you. If you've been cheated on before, she'll say you're projecting your past trauma onto her. If you've had jealousy issues, she'll frame this as another episode of your irrational behavior. She weaponizes your vulnerabilities to deflect from her own actions. The psychology behind it: this is textbook gaslighting, a manipulation tactic designed to make you doubt your own perceptions, memories, and sanity. By consistently denying your reality and reframing it as your personal failing, she creates psychological confusion that keeps you from trusting your instincts. Gaslighting is incredibly effective because it exploits fundamental human insecurities. Most people already have some degree of self-doubt. Some worry that they might be overreacting or being unreasonable. She amplifies these existing doubts until you genuinely question whether your concerns are valid. By turning the blame on you, she creates a psychological shield that deflects suspicion and keeps you from pushing harder. You become more concerned with proving you're not paranoid than with investigating whether your suspicions have merit. The focus shifts from her behavior to your reaction to her behavior. This manipulation also serves to train you not to question her. If every time you express concern, you end up feeling guilty, eventually you'll stop expressing concerns. You'll learn that questioning her leads to conflict, self-doubt, and no resolution, so you'll suppress your instincts to avoid the unpleasant confrontation. There's also an element of Davo at play: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She denies the accusation, attacks you for making it, and positions herself as the victim of your distrust. This is a classic manipulation pattern used by people who are guilty but don't want to admit it. Real-world example. When you ask about her whereabouts or why she was late coming home, she doesn't simply explain. Instead, she flips it around. Why are you interrogating me? I'm not a criminal. I'm out living my life, and you're here playing detective like you don't trust me. You mention that she seems distant lately, and instead of acknowledging it or discussing what might be wrong, she says, I'm not distant, you're needy. Maybe if you had your own life and your own friends, you wouldn't be so focused on monitoring mine. Secret 6. She uses her guilt as an emotional cover. How it works: she compensates for her betrayal by acting overly affectionate or helpful, using guilt to keep the relationship intact while maintaining her affair. This isn't conscious manipulation in all cases. Sometimes the guilt is genuine, and the affection is her subconscious way of balancing the scales or assuaging her conscience. After periods of distance or suspicious absences, she suddenly becomes the perfect partner. She initiates date nights, cooks your favorite meal, buys you thoughtful gifts, or shows physical affection in ways she hasn't in months. She says things like, I'm sorry for being distant lately. Work has been so stressful, but I don't want to neglect us. I just want to make things right between us. You mean everything to me. I don't tell you that enough. The psychology behind it: guilt is a powerful emotion that often triggers compensatory behavior. When someone feels guilty about their actions, they instinctively try to balance it out by doing good things. It's psychological self-soothing. I'm not a bad person because look at all these good things I'm doing. This affection feels genuine because, in many cases, it is genuine in the moment. She does care about you. That's what makes the guilt so powerful. She's not a sociopath without feelings. She's someone living a double life who genuinely has affection for both you and her affair partner. The guilt-driven affection is her way of managing the cognitive dissonance of caring about you while betraying you. For you, these periods of renewed affection are incredibly confusing and effective at maintaining the status quo. Just when your suspicions might be reaching a breaking point, she gives you exactly what you've been missing: attention, affection, intimacy. This reinforces your hope that things are getting better and makes you less likely to investigate further. Real-world example. After a week of being distant and unavailable, she suddenly plans a surprise date night at your favorite restaurant. She's dressed up, affectionate, fully present, laughing at your jokes, holding your hand, making eye contact. It feels like the early days of your relationship, and you think, this is the woman I fell in love with. Maybe we just hit a rough patch. She buys you a gift for no particular reason, something you mentioned wanting months ago that she remembered. This thoughtfulness makes you feel valued and makes you question whether you are being paranoid about her behavior. After coming home late several nights in a row, she initiates physical intimacy with an intensity and passion that's been missing. She's attentive to you in ways she hasn't been in a while, and afterward, she tells you how much she loves you and how important you are to her. She starts doing little things that matter to you, making your coffee in the morning the way you like it, asking about your day, and actually listening to the answer, remembering important things you have going on, and checking in about them.